Welcome back to everyone. Here we are, the presentation of the final project. Let's see the lineup of the team.
A team of 5 with Emma Fernanda, Alessandra, Lola, Pochis and Benji. Now, let's begin with the presentation.
In December 2019, the city of Wuhan, China, manifested a new type of coronavirus, which was called COVID-19. It is a virus that spreads easily, and its spread has paralyzed the world. However, there is no timely and truthful information in Mexico on the evolution of COVID-19. The Mexican government declared national quarantine the week of March the 16th, 2020. It was until March the 24th that Undersecretary Hugo López declared that the country is in phase 2, in order to prevent the massive spread of the virus.
COVID-19 has had a major impact on the business economy. This work will analyze the impact of the activities of the construction company Grupo Dimec on the pandemic, especially on the work involving the construction of a shopping center that is being carried out in Querétaro, in order to find a feasible solution to continue the work. Grupo Dimec is a group of Mexican companies that offer different services to private and public initiative. For 50 years, based in the city of Puebla, Mexico, it has positioned itself in the national and international market. This is due to its human capital, the continuous improvement of the process used, and the solution proposed in each of its projects. The statistical data obtained from the study carried out in Grupo Dimec will be of vital importance in formulating a proposal to improve the current employment situation in Mexico.
The impact of the pandemic on DIMAC Group affects the work area directly, as it must comply with the safety standards, health protocols, and the reduction of the number of workers on the site at the same time, for the 2020 workers who are involved in the work. The most important thing for the company is to keep the sources of work of each of the collaborators in their different buckets. At first, the work is agreed on a delivery time of 16 months, that the delivery date is November 30, 2021. However, the COVID-19 pandemic has led to an extension to deliver the completed work with a maximum tolerance of 45 days. The objective of this work will be to publicize a proposal of the ensure of the well-being of the workers involved in the project and still obtain quality work in the construction of a shopping center. The proposal will be analyzed using statistic methods.
For the preparation of this work, we follow the next steps. We create a brainstorming for the choice of a problem related to the industrial sector. We choose the problem to analyze, conduct research and look at areas of opportunity. We define which topics seen in class can be applied to the problem. Gather data to be studied through a survey, apply them and tools viewed in class. We get results, interpretation and analysis of results, alternative proposal as a solution, and we gave a conclusion. Clearly, a sample distribution will be used, a sample of 40 workers. From the data obtained in the survey, we will be able to define the type of distribution that collaborates with the formulation of a proposal and what are the parameters that define the distribution. This to reach a conclusion through our representative data.
Outlines what you found out in relation to the research questions or hypotheses presented in the figures and written tests. Results contain the facts of the research. Include a brief comment on the significance of key results, with the expectation that more generalized comments about results will be made in the discussion section. The null hypothesis relied on the situation that before and during the pandemic, there was no remarkable change in the hours employees worked for the company DIMAC Group. On the other hand, the alternative hypothesis stated that there was a change in the hours employees worked for this company, given that the methodology used and collected for this project was through surveys. We knew in advance that our data would not follow a normal distribution. We decided to apply a sign test where the value that is analyzed is the median of the samples, means is based on no parametric statistics. As a result, we got that the null hypothesis does not have to be rejected. This means that the samples for working time before and during the pandemic are relatively similar. The decision was made because different significant values were obtained as the test statistic and also the p-value.
All, it can be said that the working time of employees will have a direct impact on the company having chances to be more productive. Also, given the current situation that the whole world is facing, companies have to plan a strategy to keep their workers and working stations safe, means COVID-19 free. It is highly probable that the MAC group had to adopt some sanitizing measurements that imply the usage of reliable time to things different than pure working time. This is how, during the last months, the pandemic has changed a wide range of industries. Having the exact same time of working shift has surely have negative impact on the company's productivity. Another aspect that must be considered during the analysis of the data is that the survey was made to employees from around different sectors of the company. This means that some employees are dedicated to the administrative sector, others to the handling sector, and further. A limitation in this part is that administrative employees do not necessarily have to attend the facilities of the company to continue working. This looks different for workers such as builders, plumbers, people that have to carry out face-to-face work. The main limitation during the development of the project was that the data did not rely on a normal distribution. Non-parametric statistics are not that reliable as parametric ones. Because of the data's nature, we firstly had to establish a number between the different ranges that were asked for initially in the survey. Having a determined number of hours worked per day, we proceeded to settle the null and alternative hypotheses. This way, the difference in the medians was obtained and the positive signs were the ones that mattered.
This is where you emphasize that your research objectives have been achieved. You also emphasize the most significant results, note the limitation, and make the suggestion for the further research. As the most noticeable limitation, we could point out that positioning data around the total amount of time that people are working for a company does not tell us necessarily the time they were productive. Nevertheless, we can ask directly to hide comments about how they are deadly with this kind of change. The results obtained throughout the survey and the sign test are sufficient for the conclusion that reliable working time does not necessarily mean a productive time, given that different factors have played a role during the pandemic. Working schedule get modified heavily.
But wait! There's more!
Well, my apportation of this work was investigation. I investigate all have relationship with COVID-19 and then determine in Grupo DIMAC. Then I started to do the survey and well, I have the contact in Grupo DIMAC, so where I have the obtained the data.
For the project, I carried out the analysis of the data of the survey, doing a sign test for the information about the hours that the workers worked during and before the pandemic.
So basically, my apportation to the team was the analysis of the results and also the conclusion, as the discussion too. And on this part, we came to the conclusion that our data doesn't present a normal distribution, first of all, and second, that the null hypothesis gets accepted, so the median remained the same during and before the pandemic.
Finally, when we got all these parts, we started to film, and I did the edit and all the SketchUp of this video.
Now, let's listen some of the learnings that each team has.
Developing this work was very exciting because it was different from what was now. We analyzed a true case, the data, the problem, the company, the shopping center in progress. Everything is really there. The fact of having applied my knowledge of inference statistics, which I learned in this course, makes it a very valuable experience for me. It was not just a final word to deliver. It helped me to have a realistic perspective of my life as a future industrial engineer.
One thing that I learned through this project is that you have to be very careful on the making of the survey, because you have to consider whom you are making the survey and the questions. So on our specific project, we didn't consider that there were different sectors of employees, like the administrative ones, the face-to-face works, plumbers, etc. And that is a reason for like significant changes in our results. So you have to be very conscious about this.
In this project, I learned a lot about how to interpret data, how to analyze it by using different tests and different applications such as Excel, that I think this is basic for an industrial engineer to know how to use Excel. So the project helped me to learn how to use it.
For my part, I can say that I learned different statistic methods and how to apply it in real problems.
Oh, ain't nothing gonna break my stride.